Welcome back to the Burnout Bob YouTube channel. It's your host, Carol Baskin. I'm just kidding. Cool cats and kittens, what's up? Today's video, I'm be doing some body work, I guess you could call, on the Ruckus. The bike is back from the fab shop, so I'm super excited about that. Hope you guys are too. Bert absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. He did everything I wanted him to do, so it was a really good job. I have just a little bit of fab work that I have to do before I take the frame apart and get it ready for paint. Let's get into that. Alright, so you can see here the seat is mounted. This is the frame that we use, and it's actually an OEM seat frame that we cut up and then welded onto the factory frame here. So you see this bend right here. That's actually that bend right there cut up, and then that back bar is actually our rear brace for the seat. So we use some straight section, went across, Bert cut it, welded it on, drilled the hole so that it fits right on the frame here. The seat underneath has 2 bolts, so he made brackets so that I can fasten this down. And up front he welded the tab to the OEM style seat frame. And we had to do it a couple times to get it where we wanted to, so we lowered it, but it actually looks really good. It may look like on the camera it has a little pitch forward. That's going to change. This seat is a flat seat, so what I'm going to do is put a little bit more padding towards the nose, and then also this bracket that's up front here. Let me see. There we go. The bracket that's up front here is going to get a little bit more of a riser to it to balance it out. So between those two things, it'll be good. But it looks really good on the Bob frame. So what I have to do today is cut off this existing seat tab right here. Right here, come on, there you go. So I have to trim that down. If you can see on the other side here, it is already trimmed down. Bert did that for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the template, trace that, and then bring it over to this side, draw where I have to cut off. This way I can get it as even as possible. And then after that, I'm going to bring it to the, after that I will mix up some bondo, and then start laying down the bondo. And I guess the process for that is just bondo and then sand, bondo and sand, and you keep doing it till you get it right. So it might be a timely matter, but we got a lot of time with this coronavirus going around, right? So let's get to it. You can see here, we're down to the frame. I just have to take the shock arm bolt out to remove the shock arm. What I've been doing is, so that my painter is aware for when he's painting, is this is where the mount goes. So with the engine mount being there, I'm going to see if there's a way that he could tape that off. And same thing with these points here, because what you're going to run into when you're doing any type of fatty swap, or basically any type of fatty swap, and you're going to powder or paint the frame, those parts are going to be thicker than when you test fit the parts like how it is right now, and it's going to cause a lot of problems when you're going to put it back on afterwards with fitment issues. So one thing to do is, if the painter or powder coat guy can tape that off, because it's all going to be covered anyways, if they can do that, that'd be great. Otherwise you're going to have some grinding to do. And then another episode, when I send this stuff out for powder, I'm going to show you the places that I tape off so you don't run into issues. I know if you guys saw the red and white bike that I did, that one had a lot of problems with powder, but that wasn't approved by me, I guess you could say. That was already done by the owner ahead of time, and he did a lot of things against what I had advised him to do. So that's why that bike ran into a ton of issues. So you see here, I got the back frame part. I drew with the marker after making a stencil to show where I could cut it so it would match up with the other side. I took this bracket off, which has the seat tabs on it. I'll have to go ahead and put this on, or bondo this, clean this up. And same thing with the frame. The front frame is there. I will be taking that apart shortly. I have the motor up on the rack there, so I'll be taking all the stuff off that and getting that ready for the wrinkle black coat that I usually do for my motors, so it will look just like the black and gold bike here. And then I have my rack here set up, so this part is all going to be painted the Nardo gray along with the frame and the tank. I have my hardware up here. If you are doing this for the first time, I would definitely recommend you labeling it and putting it bags so you know what goes where. I do this every day, so when I make these kits for like the fatty kits and everything, I know what bolts are to come with it, so I kind of got a heads up. This is all going to go for powder, so my mount, the bracket here, the bar, the gas cap, I believe there's more that I have going to get black, oh, like rear sets and stuff like that. So that stuff I'm leaving there for right now. We're going to get to the frame, to cutting off that part and grinding it down. So I grinded down the rear frame here. Now you could see where there's some white showing right here. That's where I made a little dimple in, so I know where to fill in with the bondo. Now here's a little thing. If you do plan on powder coating your rear frame, bondo will not work. It will melt down in the oven. So what you're going to have to do is you can use JB Weld, and JB Weld, smooth it in, fill in the gaps, and then grind it back down, and that should even it out if you're trying to get it really good finish. The rest of this is all being ground down. As you can see, there's that side that Bert did, and then you have the side that I did, and it's pretty darn close when I compared the two together. So next up, I'm going to do the bondo. Now I know some of you guys are going to criticize me about grinding this in the back of the truck. I didn't want to do it in my garage in the vise because I just cleaned up the garage. I don't want to sweep up any metal shavings, so I figured do it here in the back of the truck. And I know it didn't clamp to anything, and I'm not like the perfect safety advisor for it, but yeah, I can only imagine that the YouTube mechanics and YouTube police will call me out on that, so I'm just going to address that first. I've never used bondo. Well, I've used it once before, but never on an application like this. This is my first time doing it, so bear with me. There's probably going to be trial and error. Probably more error. But I'm going to try to get this laid out. And I've watched a couple YouTube videos on it, so we're going to go off of that. Let's get that started. I had to take a break from the bondo because I had to check up on my brother from another country. Ladies and gentlemen, you might know him as Ruckus UK. There he is.
Yeah, people.
You gotta make sure you follow his channel.
Again?
I told him that they gotta make sure they follow your channel.
Yeah, I got a build on the go, so they come check my build out as well.
What's the build right? What are you doing right now for the build?
Stripping down the frames, so we've done that, which you can catch up on those 2 videos. Then, well, next thing is to get Black Betty back on the road. She's got to have her engine refreshed and get back on the road. And then we're going to start building up the new Ruckus.
Yeah. So again, be sure to give him a follow. Check him out on Instagram and YouTube. And also, he's got some new shirts dropping soon that are absolutely insane. They are so sick. So I know I'm copying one. You guys better reach out to him. Get your pre-orders in now. And then we'll get back to the video. See you later.
Stay safe.
Okay, so the bondo has been applied, at least the first coat of it. I went pretty heavy with it just for the fact that I'd rather put more on and sand it away than less and keep having to add applications to it. So with that being said, I'll just go ahead and show you right now what I have done. So you can see, basically I sanded back down to the metal, but you can see the areas that needed the filling from when they first ground the frame. And now this is nice and smooth. There's no bumps. And that's basically what I'm going to do with all the areas that I applied the bondo to. So I have the rest of the frame to keep sanding. It's going to be a lot of sanding. I don't intend on filming all of the sanding because it's just really dirty and it's going to dirty up the camera. I already messed up the camera when I was doing the grinding and I had it set up on the truck. The sparks came back and hit the face of the screen and it burnt into the screen. So kind of upset about that, but it is what it is. That was my mistake. Hope you liked the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to keep doing more of them once once I finish sanding this down. I'll show you the finished product for how it looks like once the bondo is all sanded. And then from there, what I'll do is go ahead and start showing you what you need to tape off if you're going to send your stuff to powder coat. So that's probably what the next episode in this build series is going to be. Again, hope you like, share, and subscribe.